brand new. Ooh, look at that thing. There's the old one. There's the new one. And they say to replace these anytime you replace the chain, so we'll go ahead and do that. Got a new oil seal for here, so we'll replace that as well. Some new. Hopefully we don't screw this thing up putting it in. I guess we'll find out. I guess we'll find out. All right, chain cover done. Yes. All right, we've got our new timing chain installed, and we can actually give this a nice turn. It seems to work nicely. Quite smooth. All right, so we've had some new parts arrive from Moss. This is a aluminum sealing block for the front of the engine, and basically this is at the bottom of the timing cover on the front, and there are two holes on the sides that have large flathead screws that go into them. And the reason why they're flatheads is because they don't want you to over torque them, because if you over torque them, then what happened on mine would happen on this, which is it would strip out the threads. And so a new piece, I think it was around $42, but it basically seals the front of the engine. Now, why they make these out of aluminum, I don't know. There is an aftermarket one that you can order from a third party that's made out of steel, which makes more sense to me, although it's twice as much as this aluminum one. So I went with the aluminum one, and I am going to try not to mangle it. Now, there are holes on the bottom. There are basically there's two screws that go in to the bottom that hold the sealing block to the engine. And then these are for the oil pan, actually. And then here we've got the two pan head screws, and then there's a timing cover hole mount here too. There are some little gaskets and wood blocks. Alright, let's see how easily this stuff comes off. Now, I know these are going to come off easy because I've already had them off. They're not even in the right holes. These corner holes are actually for the bolts to hold on the ground straps. And so I put them on the side so that I wouldn't lose them, because my sealing block holes are actually stripped. Somebody over torqued these. Over under on these being easy to remove. Oh, look at that. Wow. Still don't really understand what this piece is all about. And why wouldn't you just have the block go all the way around? Oh, that's not bad at all. So one thing you'll notice is there are no wood sealing blocks on the sides here. These are the sealing blocks. So because there was no wood on the sides, there was basically a channel on each side for the oil to just leak right out. And the oil pan was here. So there's a little bit of a seal, but basically on the both corners of the pan, both corners of the pan just leaked. So this thing just must have constantly leaked oil. It's crazy. Sort of ridiculous. Two little tiny paper gaskets. Odd design, but I guess that's supposed to just sort of soak up the oil and swell, and that's that. Oh, again, two little pieces of wood. So it's going to save the whole world. MG. Alright, I actually managed to get the timing cover sort of set. It actually was a little easier than I thought. I mean, it's not secured yet, but I thought that the timing chain tensioner was going to be a little more difficult to work with, but it actually worked okay. Got the gasket on. I'm going to put a little bit of RTV on the pins. One thing that I learned from the community is that before you cinch everything down, you really want you want the pulley on and centered so that the timing chain cover itself is centered. The woodruff key with a slot. Now we'll just mark it with a Sharpie so that we can see it easily. See the woodruff key slot here. we have the timing marked. I'm going to mark it with a white paint marker actually when it comes time to do the dynamic timing. But for now, this will do nicely. I'm sure it'll leak.